Hi, welcome to another tutorial on the whiteboard feature. And what you need to know is that the whiteboard feature is another way of creating a quote. And it is different than the quote create feature that we covered before because we don't have to specify a header, and instead we can start creating a quote by doing the lines and the screen design. So to start, first sign in and reach the home page that you can see here, and go to the top menu and press whiteboard. So as you can see, this is the quote index page for whiteboard quotes. And one important thing to know is that if you are a sales rep, you can only see your own quotes. And if you are a sales reps manager, you can see all the sales reps quotes, but you only have read access privileges. And another thing is, as you can see, there are different buttons for the users. So since I'm Quincy 6, we see locked here for Quincy 7, as you can only do edits to your own quote. And yeah, that's why you see for all Quincy 6 entries, we can have a continue editing button, but for all Quincy 7, we have locked and details. So yeah, and to get started, we can go and press create a new quote here. And as you can see, the difference so far is that there are 3 default lines instead of 2. We have shipping and handling, we have warranty, and we have a note line. And this note line really acts as a notepad for, let's say, if you have any header information, or if you want to just write any bit of notes, you can do that here. So let's say now we want to populate our quote with new lines. Let's do add lines. And this is the same process as before. We can use the website to automatically calculate which components are compatible with our panel. So I selected the first panel, and once I press confirm, we have all the compatible parts. So I'll just select one of each to make this tutorial simple. And once I'm happy, I'll go ahead and press submit. And as you can see, all the parts here have been populated. And again, it's the same thing as before. If you want to edit the quantity of any of these, we can go ahead and press edit. So I'll go ahead and edit the panel. So we'll do 100, press save, and it's saved. So the process is the same as before. So now let's say we want to create a screen design. We can go ahead, press edit, the screen size button, and let's say we want to do a 16:9 wall. So we'll call it cool wall. And once you press confirm, it'll calculate for us the panels, dimensions, and pixels. So once you press submit, there you go. We get the screen option now, which was the same as before. So here we can verify our screen. We can press edit to add more screens, but I'm not going to do that. So we'll go ahead and press back. And as you can see, our state of our quote has been saved. And this is our current quote, by the way, the last line. We can press continue editing. We can see all the new changes we made. But the most important thing and the difference here is that we can go ahead and promote this to a formal quote. So a whiteboard is essentially an informal quote until we can promote it to a formal quote. And once we promote it, it will go all the way back into the quote index here. Another feature is we can also delete this quote. So let's say this is just for testing, and this was just a temporary quote. We can go ahead and delete this quote. So yep, so now that I'm ready to promote, I will go ahead and press promote to a formal quote. And before we do that, it will ask us for a quote header, because every formal quote needs both headers and lines. So in the same process of creating a quote, which was the first step, we'll go ahead and create the quote header. So I'm just going to leave all this blank for tutorial purposes, but you will have to fill all this out in order to pass the approval process anyways. But for this tutorial, I'll keep it blank. So I'll just change the tax. We'll say 5% tax. And once you press submit, this should promote this whiteboard quote into a formal quote. So here, as you can see, it says it's copied all lines from the whiteboard quote. And let me see. This first line should be our whiteboard quote we just created. This one before was, the second one was before I was playing before, so don't worry about this one. But this is the one that we just created. To verify, we can go ahead and press screen. And as you can see, the name is Cool Wall, which is the one we named before. So yeah, everything is the same here, and after you've promoted a whiteboard quote to a formal quote, you have the full power of the quote index here. We're able to do checkout and edit. We're able to submit and ask for the approval process from the managers, and so on. So one last thing. We want to mention an extra feature inside the header index, and that is when we go to the end of the process of when we reach the screen page. So after we've added our lines, we've created our screen wall, we get to here, and notice how there's more buttons. There is quote, there's checkout, and there's checked in. And essentially, to just demonstrate this, I'll go on ahead and let's say I make any edits. So I go here, and remember how we have a note line? Well, once that we're in a formal quote, we no longer need this quote line. So I'll go on ahead and delete it. So once this line is deleted, as you can see, it's gone here. We can go on ahead and we can go to the screen page. And if we press checked out essentially only looks into our secondary data set, which is where we've been making all our saves and edits. So this shows basically our current state of our quote. So as you can see, there's no notes here. It's gone here since we just deleted it. So let me show the checked in now. So if we press checked in, this basically shows the current primary data set, and basically that is our quote version A. So I'll go here and press checked in, and as you can see, there is still a note line here even though we deleted it. So this feature is very useful for, let's say you're making a lot of edits and saves to your quote, and you just want to compare real quick to the previous version. Then you can use this feature here, and you can compare the checked out versus the checked in quote. And just to clarify, when I mean the most recent quote or the previous quote, I mean the quote that matches with the current quote version ID A here. So essentially is just the most current quote that is in our primary data set. So I hope you've learned how to create a whiteboard quote and how to promote it, and yeah, make sure to always log out at the end of your sessions.